Welcome back to another episode of the Randy Wilson podcast. I'm your host, Randy Wilson. Before I get into this episode, I have exciting news I want to share with you guys. I am in the process of starting a new show, and I'm not able to give you a whole lot of information on that right now, but if you've been paying attention, you can recognize that my shows have slowed down, and that's because I am in the preparation stage right now for rebranding and creating something new and different. So I'm excited to share more with you about that in future episodes. So just continue to pay attention to the Randy Wilson podcast, and you're going to learn more about the new show that will be coming soon. Very excited today to have my guest, Brandon Lovee, who also goes by B Lovee. You're going to learn a whole lot about him. But before you do, make sure you follow the show, subscribe to the show if you haven't subscribed. Tell someone that this is Virginia's podcast for the culture, from the culture. And we could be diving in today with Brandon Lovee to learn more about some of the things that he's doing to impact and influence the culture in his own community. I've been familiar with Mr. Lovee since he was a teenager. I first heard him speak and do poetry at Tuesday Versus. It's been many years ago. We share a lot of mutual friends and acquaintances, and he's been doing the work of what I call a change maker out in the community for several years. So very excited today that we can have this conversation. And if you're not familiar with him, you need to go follow him right now on Instagram at B Lovee Speaks and check out some of his content. Mr. Lovee is also the founder of Love THC, and you're going to learn more about that, as well as he's the community leader with Crenius. Crenius puts together a lot of different projects, community events up and down the East Coast, and they do phenomenal work. You may even be familiar with seeing some of their work through Manchester Manifest. And then you're also going to learn about Everybody Eats RBA. Brandon Lovee is the creative director of that. And recently just learned that he's working down at Juice Life as well. So, I mean, I can't keep up with it, brother. He's doing a little bit of everything. And Mr. Lovee, it is a pleasure to have you on the show.
Indeed, it's an honor to be here, brother. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Man, your speaking career started out young. I mean, you was probably middle school. It was something like that. I checked out your website. Clearly you have a gift, because in 2011 with the video that I saw that you have out there, you was, as far as I'm concerned, you still had, the polish and all the ingredients in the making to being who you are today. Your speaking has created opportunities for you to connect with all of the schools within our region, from Richmond Public Schools, Chesterfield County, as well as Henrico. You've spoke at Averett University, VCU, Art 180. You've been a TEDx speaker, Shaderoom, the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, St. Luke Legacy Center, Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond. You've been on Channel 6 News. I mean, that's a pretty impressive resume of speaking engagements for a young man who is only 25 years old. You also have 2 books out, and that's pretty impressive. And so where do you have where is all the time and the creativity come from? Also, like, where's the passion come from in regard to why you do what you do?
Yeah, man. Just again, first and foremost, thank you for having me on here, man. And when it comes to time, the creativity, the passion, it's rooted in me. My parents, I watched my dad. He was an entrepreneur, secure elements, right in Southside, Richmond. That's all I watched him ever do. My mother, she was an entrepreneur, cosmetologist, but also an artist, just come from 2 creative mindsets. But most importantly, they raised me in a community and a foundation to serve and to be of service for my people, my community, and to serve my creator, my God. So the passion honestly comes from really just seeing the world for what it is and not what they tell me it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times growing up, I saw a lot of people try to paint the picture of the American dream, but I witnessed an American nightmare. Even though I grew up in a 2-parent household, I grew up in a beautiful home, I saw poverty, I saw pain, I saw trauma all around me. And I just realized, like, yo, if I'm going through this, if I see this, I know it's other people that's going through it worse. You know what I'm saying? And just realizing it's a it's a huge divide between pretty much the haves and the have-nots. So yeah, at the time, glory to God. Again, 25 years old, I can still get that young man energy, but I feel like just looking at my father, my grandfather, like it's just it's rooted in me. You know what I'm saying? We come from a long lineage of strong men and women. But most importantly, again, even today I say a prayer. I was up till 2 a.m. Helping my homie Mushmouth RBA set up his ghost kitchen, but I woke up at 4 or 5 a.m. to go to Juice Life and help my brother Ryan, man, just assignment, and I asked God to give me the strength of 1,000 angels and to give me the energy of 1,000 angels. So where it come from, prayer, you know what I'm saying, communing with the Most High and surrendering to the purpose of just being a service to my people.
Southside of Richmond, did you go to Huguenot or George Wythe?
Yeah, so actually I didn't. So grew up in Southside Richmond, lived off on Bainbridge Street, but I wanted to play soccer. So I went from elementary to about ninth grade. I went to a Lodge House Academy, which was an inner city private school, born in Southside off Old Ward Road, connected with the Richmond Outreach Center. And I say inner city private school because when we went to go play sports and get against the other private schools, you could tell which kids came from the hood and which kids didn't. So that was a root in me. And so then from that, again, wanted to play soccer. My parents ended up sending me out to Melanated High School when our house floor closed on Bainbridge Street. So house floor closed on Bainbridge. My parents got a divorce. Everything began splitting apart. And I had my grandfather's wife living out in Chesterfield and Midlothian. So I ended up going to school out there. It was a huge culture shift for me. But that's where I graduated from. And then, again, still living in Southside, on Bainbridge Street, lived in Midlothian for probably about 6 months. And then right back in Southside in Aiden Park, still going to Midlothian High School. So my mother would drive 30 minutes every day just to drop me off school and 30 minutes back to pick me up. So Southside kid, kind of like that All-American movie, you know what I'm saying? Living in the South and going to the burbs to get the education.
Yeah, salute to your mom, and I thought it was a very special moment. I seen a post you recently made it versus when you had your mom up there on stage with you.
For sure.
That was really cool.
Sure.
I want to talk. One of the things that inspired me to have a conversation with you was some of the things I've seen with your in this spiritual journey, this transformation phase that you're going through right now. And I said phase because I think you're moving.
Right.
It's not staying still. You're developing, you're growing, you're evolving. So I was inspired. I seen you empty out, all your alcohol and all your like other thing. You emptied out everything. I don't need to say what you did. You know what you did, and those who watching know what you did. And I was like, this brother he's getting he didn't offer it up. He said, no, I'm not gonna pass that to you, brother. I'm dumping it. And so I want to get into that, but before we do, when you got people's attention in the beginning, you got to hit them with the things that's important, but you got a book. And let's go ahead and make sure we talk about that book real quick, because I'm sure it's for sale. I'm sure it's available.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about the book, the second book, by the way.
For sure. So yeah, I just lost my second book. My second baby is Love Volume 1. One of 77 series that I plan to create out of my lifetime. But pretty much the concept of the book is to
hold on a minute. Hold on a second. You said one of 77?
Yeah, that's the goal, to create 77 volumes of Love Volume 1. This is the first one.
I know seven is a very obviously important number for a lot of reasons.
Right.
Why 77?
So yeah, for me specifically, 7 is important. I was born on April 7th at 7 o'clock, weighing 7 pounds, 7 ounces. Yeah, so that number has been traveling all through my life. Even the first time I got locks, I remember counting the locks the first time, and I had 77 locks in my head. The first time I ever got locks. You know how the Bible verse says, He knows how many hairs is on your head. You know what I'm saying? But I even named my son 7. My son name is Saban, spelled like the number 7. So the number 7, even if you look at even my dad, big in the faith, he talks about the number 7 means rest. The number 7 means completion. If you look at the 5%ers, they say the number 7 stands for God. So I said 5%. So yeah, so the idea of the 7 is just a connection for me. It's been traveling through my whole life. Even my home, I got family. Man, I can tell you my great grandparents. They were actually married on my birthday. Great grandparents married on my birthday, April 7th. My great grandmother, she actually passed away on my birthday in 2020, April 7th. So everything I do is 4/7. April is the 4th month. 7 is the day. So everything I do is 4/7. You know what I'm saying? I believe in the number 7. I believe in the number of rest. Got it tattooed on my neck 4 times on my body. So yeah, I like the number 7. On the 7th day, God rested.
Got you. All right. I apologize for interrupting you, but I feel like we needed to know that. So,
Yeah.
so this is going to be, is this the first or the second of the 77?
It's the first one, most definitely.
Okay.
It's number one. Yeah, it's number one. It's introduction. So again, the aspect of it is the book is composed of 10 perspectives and 10 poems, along with 10 bonus pages for you to notate and journal for yourself. So my idea is to challenge conversations, to spark conversations. I have 10 chapters, everything from coexisting to judgment to addictions, to love with two E's, how I call it, to death. And again, a plethora of topics. But the idea is to allow it to be a conversation piece for people, whether it be a conversation piece for yourself or a conversation piece for your peers, your family, because I realize a lot of times we're having conversations on a day-to-day basis, but a lot of times they stay on the surface level. So I'm ready to start peeling back layers and go deeper. I understand that on the other side of discomfort is growth, and growth and comfort cannot coexist. So I just want to have uncomfortable conversations and challenge people to go deeper. And even the way the book is set up, and I realized the attention span nowadays is like 15 seconds. So to get a person to really sit down and read a book is crazy. So I incorporated a lot of different structures in the book that literally you're going to be reading the book, flipping it, turning it, spinning it around while you're reading it, just to keep you engaged, just to keep you locked in, and allow it to be a talking piece again for the community.
Have you had, first off, where can people access and purchase this book?
Most definitely. So you can download the ebook for free at www.BLOVEESpeaks.com. And then you can purchase the actual physical copy as well. I'm doing a vibe called Pay What You Can, Pay What Makes You Happy. So you can literally go in and put a free code in and literally cash out how much you want, and I'll ship it to you, or you can pay the whole $33.33. I'm actually launching a book club, Young Soldiers Book Club, surrounding this book. We're beginning October 15th. So a portion of every book sales goes towards scholarship for these 20 young kings that we're bringing into the space and allowing them to breathe, read, reflect, and express.
So you don't really have you're not really prioritizing making money off this book.
Nah, it's impact over income every day. Impact over income. Again, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you. So again, my biggest thing is, again, I want to flood the streets with this love. You know what I'm saying? And I know God bless me every day. You know what I'm saying? Relationships is a blessing for me.
Why is it 33.33, man? Why ain't it 34?
33,
$34 if you sell. I'm trying to. Why not?
Yeah, I thought about that too. I just like the number 33. They say Christ died on the cross at 33. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it right there.
Yo, man, you got good energy, bro. You got really good energy. And like I said, I know who you are, but I don't know you like some people know you, but the energy. I can definitely feel the energy, man. I say that from the standpoint just because I've witnessed you in a lot of different spaces, and the energy's always been good, but I do feel that there's been some change with you, man. Like there's some conviction. It kind of is coming through, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Y'all go check that book out. Y'all go get it. He said you can download it for free, or you can go pay for it. But man, go ahead and if you can, pay for it. Put it in your library, provide it as a gift. Help this brother. Again, this is just the first of 77. So I mean, I guess you got a plan to probably I'm assuming that you plan to release more than one book a year.
Most definitely. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm about to flood. And even the idea is the book wouldn't be all my perspectives either. I want to sit down and commune with people and let people hop in the book and put their own perspectives in the book. If somebody want to put a love volume 6 out, they can put a love volume 6 out, number 5 come out, and I want to help curate them. So even the book that I created, I sat down and locked myself in the office, in my office in Chester for 48 hours. I did not leave. I ate peanuts all day. I slept in the office, and I literally wrote the book, edited, formatted it in less than 48 hours.
Wow.
So the aspect is like, let's lock in. We want to create something. It took me no time to create it. It took me longer to actually release it than it did to actually create it. So yeah, it takes me no time. So I want to keep pushing.
You are an artist. You are creative. What all are you creating right now? Like, are you creating music? Are you creating, like, what all are you doing right now?
Man, I'm going to keep it real, man. My hand is literally in every medium I can think of, but specifically, I would say I'm creating and fostering a closer relationship with the Most High. Like, that's literally my focus, and whatever way that comes out, whether it be through fashion, whether it be through big old get well cards, you know what I'm saying, that I put at the 1708 gallery, whether it be me spray painting on yoga mats and putting some really uncomfortable facts on that with a noose hanging at the bottom of it, whether it be the books, whether it be this next poetry album that I'm about to drop, whether it be, it's a lot. Like literally, I have no box when it comes to creativity. I literally like to put my hand in it and have fun.
Did you have a mentor coming up, and do you have a mentor now?
I think I do. I think I had a lot of coaches. I look at a lot of my coaches from sports, in school, even my teachers as mentors. I look at my brother Ryan at Juice Life as a mentor. I look at my brother Samuel at Philly Vegan as a mentor. My father, I had my father in my life, so he was literally my greatest mentor. And even my pops, my mother's husband, one of my mentors. So I've been blessed to be impacted by a lot of just solid men and women, honestly, in my life that's really just been planting seeds in me.
Talk to us about Everybody Eats RVA. I seen about 6 months ago you had an open house. You guys, you and your wife, you guys started this business, and I think since then you've kind of found a way to make it even more person-centered, where you're kind of integrating in the community and showing up on people's door and ensuring that everybody eats. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, most definitely. So Everybody Eats actually is a collaboration that we created through 1708 Gallery. Shout out to Rosetta Fields for curating this experience. It's 3x2 transformative capsules. So long story short, 3 organizations were given 2 weeks in 1708 Gallery to activate the space and present art that compelled and pushed the culture forward in Richmond. So we had Ricky Parker for the first 2 weeks, THC Think Tank for the second 2 weeks, and myself and Suzanne Pro for the third 2 weeks. So the concept of Everybody Eats is, 1, why doesn't everybody eat? 2, what happens when everybody doesn't eat? And 3, where are the resources that are assisting Everybody Eats? And so when I say EATS, EATS, it stands for empowerment, access, transformation, and sustainability. So we realize, again, is that everybody doesn't experience this. And what happens from the gun violence to the young kids committing, going away from suicide, you know what I'm saying, to the kids going to sleep hungry at night, to just the trauma and the pain that we see in our community. While on the other side, you got people going to brunch and spending $500 on a meal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, how we got people spending $500 when kids, babies are literally going to sleep hungry. You know what I'm saying? So really we created art through 1708 Gallery to really push these conversations, show the reality of Richmond. It's not just RVA. You know what I'm saying? We have a Richmond, Virginia this year. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get stuck in RVA culture. Keeping it real. So yeah, you get it. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, man. See, I married a Richmond woman. And if you follow my show, you've heard me say this before. She remind me every day, I'm not Richmond.
Come on now. That's real, man. That's real.
It is.
But yeah, man, that's the concept of it, man. Again, just to create impactful art to really show the multiple layers of it, and realizing that, like, yo, even if you think you're eating, you're probably not even eating for real, because everybody's going through something.
Not based off the acronym that you just used.
Come on now.
Say it again.
Empowerment, access, transformation, and sustainability.
Yeah, so I guess I would imagine that contributed to some degree to your transformation. I mean, you was out here doing this and doing that, and I guess you felt like you wasn't doing it all. Like you felt like you felt like you had to put the alcohol down, you still had the bottle, or you still had the weed, you still had so you had to really eat. You wasn't eating. I guess you didn't feel like you was fully eating from the hand of God. Fair?
Come on now, that's fair. That's completely true.
Yeah, that's impressive, brother. I say that just because, man, at the end of the day, I mean, we all who believe are children of God. I've struggled, man. Like, I just know, like, I walk around every day knowing I ain't doing what I was supposed to do,
All right, yeah, most definitely.
And, we know our time is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about, I need to talk about me. It's like, and when am I going to stop with some of the stuff, like when am I, it's like, so it's like when you see people, we all go through phases, we all go through transformation, we all have to go through changes, we all go through seasons. We have better seasons. I know that when this year started, man, I was focused on my relationship with God, and I got a good brother that sends me messages every single day. He's faithful and committed to it, and I don't open them every single day. It's just a reminder every single day of how I'm not making that time. And so I say all that to say, it's like, when you see examples of people who are going through and making those changes, it's like, to everybody else, it's a reminder of like, hey, don't focus on yourself.
Right.
What are you doing? Don't be worrying about looking at what someone else is doing, but let that be a mirror for you to reflect on yourself and look at what you are doing or what you're not doing. Maybe it's, so, and that's kind of what happened with me when I saw your post. I was like, it's pretty impressive. I like what I'm hearing. I like what I'm seeing. But let me move on here, because I want to get into that a little bit, but I don't want to get into it too fast because there's a few places else I want to go here. Are you making any music right now?
Yeah, I am. Man, I've been writing like crazy, especially since I man, yeah, I've been writing my tail off, man. So much, it literally comes to me as I sit.
Yeah.
It's like I can't get the words out of my head. There's something new coming to me every minute. I'm over here looking. Go ahead.
So, and I'm also curious about this. Soccer seemed like it was an important part of your life in the past. Where do you how do you physically like engage yourself when it comes to exercise? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm getting back into actually my physical practice. Really, I just told my homie I'm about to start a grass-fed gorilla campaign. So I'm plant-based, eat a whole bunch of grass and seeds and stuff. But I really want to about to start sculpting my body. So I do calisthenics, a little push-ups in here and there. But that's something I know I need to tap back in more too. To be completely honest, I ride the bike a lot though. Like I ride the bike through the city, and I get crazy on the scooter. Crazy on the scooter, man.
Let me tell you this, man. That's one thing. People who know me well know that the one thing that I do every single day is exercise. And I ride a bike too. I rode today 27 miles. Like I ride a road bike like they do. You know what I mean? Like I ride like, we grew up playing football, basketball, whatever the case is, and bicycles was just like something we did to get to and there,
Right.
But I ride a bicycle, man. So if you ever really want to tap it on that bicycle, I got road bike, mountain bike. I do the Pocahontas thing, whatever. I'm really tapped in on the bike. I'm not saying I'm definitely not the fastest or greatest, but I'm engaged. I'm engaged.
We're gonna tap in.
This summer I've already in 1 week I did like 225 miles. That was like my best week. I rode to Williamsburg and back. So I'm into it.
That's all right. Yeah. I gotta tap in with you.
So let me just go ahead and ask this question, and then I'm gonna tap over to the spiritual side. We got to go there, but I got to ask this question. This is a question that I've wanted to ask, not just you. This is a question that I would ask a few people, right? So, do you consider yourself an activist?
Man, I'm very challenged with that word, bro. I consider myself love, bro. I'm here. I'm a servant. That's what I consider myself.
So why are you challenged with the word?
Because
you don't feel like you are actively involved in changing the activity of what's around you. I mean, I don't know. Like, it depends on how you. Depends on how you define it. I'm asking the question because I guess I'm curious to how you see yourself, because that's really what's most important. But from the outside looking in, I think that people may see you in that way, and I may be wrong. I might be speaking for some.
You're speaking for most. Most people do call me an activist, and I like to say I'm an advocate. Like I stand for and I stand in the gap. But ultimately, it's like I feel like when we begin to put, I'm your reflection, right? And I feel like when we begin to put titles and labels on different things, it begins to like say, all right, well, if you're an activist, then what am I, right? I feel like we all have the ability to, again, just to be servants and to just serve the Most High and to serve our people and serve our community. And it may look different in every way, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like that word activist gets played out, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody, I'm an activist, and that's beautiful. It's just like, I just want to be me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I don't want to, even on the concept of being a leader, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a leader, that means people are following me, right? And my whole aspect is like, I don't really desire for people to follow me. I want people to be inspired, maybe. You know what I'm saying? People may see themselves and say, all right, well, what can I do? But on the aspect of, all right, I'm pushing something forward, it's like, nah, I'm just showing up. I'm sharing my testimony. I'm sharing my story, and I'm a servant, you know what I'm saying, of the Most High. And it's something that I see in every single one of us that I walk past.
That's good. I like that. I like that. I think one thing I probably share in every episode where there's like really thought provoking conversations is
Yeah.
that we can, that labels conceal more than they reveal, and so we shouldn't really get caught up on titles anyway, but we do. It's
Right.
just what happens.
Right.
And I don't think that titles is always a bad thing either, because titles are often a simplified way of um, helping someone understand what you're about,
Right.
but it's typically what you're about and how you define and how you go about your day-to-day work that really shows your credibility and your value.
Right. For sure.
So the reason why I asked you the question about the activist piece was because during the social unrest period in Richmond, which we still ain't, let's I mean, we still going through what we've been going through for the past
Come on.
400 years. Like nothing's changed. But during the public display of the consistency that we've seen in protesting, you was very visible and vocal and engaged.
Right.
I was a part of a lot of conversations, whether it was in my podcast or none of my podcasts, around like, you know, and just like locker room talk, basement comp. We was all talking, we was all
Right.
tapped in, we was engaged, right? But everybody was engaged in a different way.
Right.
And I seen a lot of people, scrutinize or uh, be judgmental about why some people are doing certain things and why other people aren't doing things. And it was like all this, talk, right?
Right.
Well, let me just slow down for a minute. I'm just curious of like the role that you took and the role that you take. Share with me like share with us like what are some of the positives that came from it?
Right.
What are some of the negatives that came from it? And I want to, and because I preface it with the fact that I know you experienced positives, but I'm sure you probably experienced some negative things too, like
Right.
just based off false judgment. So share with me what that experience was like for you, because you was a visible, vocal front leader on the news,
Right.
on in the newspapers, everywhere. Talk to me a little bit
Right.
about that.
Yeah, man. So it was an amazing experience. I'll be real. It was man, it was different. It was challenging. I remember my first protest I went to was in 2015. It was the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. That was like my first time really
I was there too
experiencing.
in DC.
Yeah, in DC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went as well.
For sure, yeah. So that was my first time really experiencing. I was 17 years old. That was my first time really experiencing just the hype, the energy of being in the space and just marching for a cause. And so fast forward 2020, when everything hit, I remember the first night everything hit in Richmond, where the Richmond precinct car got caught on fire and a rock got thrown in the window, GRTC bus got burnt down. I remember being right there when all happened, when the first tear gas going off. And I remember marching down the streets with my shotgun on my chest, just ready for war, ready for things to happen, ready for things to pop off. I remember sleeping out on Monument with my shotgun on my chest. I remember running to white supremacists. I remember running to people who literally threatened our lives time and time again. But also, what I realized is like I was playing their game from my perspective. It hit me when John I saw, and rest in peace to John Lewis, big respect and big reverence to him. But when I saw John Lewis, a picture of John Lewis marching back in the day when he was my age, and then John Lewis marching again in 2020, I was like, nah, something got to change. Like it has to be something else other than this. So positive impact, the seeing the community come together, seeing the solidarity, seeing people from all different races, backgrounds, just come together and stick together for a certain cause. It was beautiful. What I do believe is that that energy could have been directed into a totally different way that wasn't all rah rah ah, ah. Like, I mean, we were spending time marching these streets, but I feel like if we took that same time and energy and marched into the projects and did what we had to deal with and focus on our own community, it would have had much of a bigger impact. I remember 2020 being on the phone call with Radio B, and we talked for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just going in. And he had really planted a huge seed in me. He was like, our community needs to really focus on cleaning out our own house before we talk about cleaning out another house. And so, in the aspect of like, again, I remember seeing thousands of people come together and to pretty much say, oh, treat us better, no justice or else. All right, well, where's the or else? The or else never happened. You know what I'm saying? We scream and look good. We buying water from Kroger. We buying food from this, that place. We still spending our dollars with the system, the machine. But what are we really doing? You know what I'm saying? What's the real impact? And I believe from my perspective and from my experience of being out there, it's like that impact could have been so much stronger. And I was silent. I was loud, but I was silent. Like I know even in 2020, I could have had used my voice a lot more, but I was really just being an observer. I was showing up, being present, but I was just observing everything. And I realized again, if we would have took that same energy and just took it right to our communities, right to the communities that really needed to see those bodies in the space, people giving back, people showing up. We had cookouts in the hood, cookouts in the project, people really bringing love into the communities that needed the most. I think that would have had a much better impact than anything. I still got like some nightmares from those nights, man. Like I remember, yeah, some things that I probably can't even talk about on camera just because I'm gonna leave it right there. But it was a lot of things that was going on that honestly just shook my spirit in a way that filled me with rage and anger. And no, I'm not saying that rage is a bad thing because rage and anger often has you to activate. But at the same time, I wish my activation would have been directed in a space that created more longevity and more sustainability, a way that was propelling the culture really forward and not really just repeating the same thing that we've seen our ancestors do. So yeah, I mean, it was beautiful. I would say one positive thing though is like I remember marching for the Black Women March, and I remember it was a kid. I'm going off my judgment, but it was a kid who looked like he was about to literally take his van and ram it into all of us. And thankfully, we're out there, weapons up, guarded up, protecting our people. That's one beautiful thing is the aspect of we have everything we need as far as food, protection. Like we can come together as a community and support our community. But I feel like it will be more impactful when we stop, hey, help us, or stop hurting us, or stop doing this and stop doing that. And we just say, all right, what do we want to do for ourselves? You know what I'm saying? And again, I seen the bodies come together, and I just think it was directed in the energy that they wanted to be directed in. You know what I'm saying? They created more division and more chaos and just more confusion at the end of the day. It was a lot of lack of leadership when there was boots on the ground. There was a lot of voices that were coming out. Everybody had something to say. And I mean, again, we still see it today. We're still going through the same problems. We still got RPD coming in Mosby as we speak. Like literally within the last 14 days, 30 police officers deep with ready, just marching through the projects, not coming to give no water bottles, not coming to shake no hands, just coming to flex their guns and flex their muscles. So it's like we would have take that energy again of just being outside and just say, nah, we're going to post up in our communities and we're going to make a presence known in our communities the same way we were doing in these other public spaces. I think that would have had a bigger impact.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it changed, that experience has changed how you will go forward. It might be some of the prior ingredients that's contributed to who you are now and your change and your transformation. Not to say that you won't protest, not to say that you won't be out there, but it sounds like you have a different, I guess, philosophy toward how you'd want to approach it.
Right, for sure.
You put your life at risk for a lot of people. I mean, what was it like with your family? Like, I mean, like, how did your family, was they supporting you or was they mad at you? Like,
hey,
home.
Yeah, my family knew me. My family knew the type of the warrior that was in me. So they was praying for me. That's how they supported me. They was praying for me. I remember leaving my niece's birthday party, man. And literally with tears in my eyes, because I knew like, yo, I might not come back after this, because I knew the white supremacists that was hanging on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I looked them in the eyes. So that was a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing that I might not make it home, but at the end of the day, my family knew that I already accepted the next life. Death was nothing I really ever feared. You know what I'm saying? But it was still a challenge because they saw the pain in my eyes. Even my partner. That's in 2020. That's when me and my now wife, we first started dating. And like I said, I was sleeping at Monument with the shotgun to my chest for like 5-6 days straight. You know what I'm saying? Waiting for something to pop off. I remember my partner, she had to fly from Atlanta just to get me off what we call the battlefield. I'm over here looking skinny. My face looked like a ghost. I ain't eat. I was looking terrible, not taking care of myself. Just if something really was to go off, I would have been no good to nobody. But again, she had to literally come from Atlanta, pull me off the battlefield and take me back to Atlanta, wait there for a week just so I can rebuild and just so I can really come back to life.
Yeah, that's the part about it that if I had a critical, I mean, listen, look, I wasn't out there when I was engaged, my wife would be like, you need to be here with us. I'm home. I was home. I wasn't out there. And then COVID was going on at that same time. Like, was you thinking about COVID?
Most definitely. So yeah, I was definitely thinking about COVID. And that's another reason out there. I mean, we was pushing CMOS smoothies like crazy out there. We was trying to fight back holistically, you know what I'm saying, pushing medicine in the community like that too. But yeah, I was definitely thinking about that. And I was thinking about that as well and figuring out, all right, how can I fill those gaps? How can I provide some type of sustainability and resources? Because I know a lot of people weren't thinking about it.
I think the thing for me that I shouldn't say this, but it was a person that I was around at that time. And I remember they used to talk about, yeah, like you described the battlefield. They was saying to me, they had to go to work tonight. They got to go do their thing. Right. And I just remember looking at them and kind of feeling like they was ignorant anyway. And the reason why is just because I seen them as people will follow a movement. If people will follow, I didn't see any leadership with that person. I just seen a person going out there doing what everybody else was doing. And so there was a lot of people out there, but I was always curious. You wouldn't be the only person I would ask that question to. I would ask Rosetta the same question because he was out there too. And it's all. And one of the things that prompted me to ask that question is because I've had conversations with law enforcement and civic political leaders about, and I know that as time's gone on, they have pictures, and their law enforcement has pictures in their office right now from those times, and they have faces like yours and others that they remember being, and they kept them, and so it's like that has an impact that still sticks and it follows you. And so you never know who's looking at you and what kind of feelings that they're holding. And it's tough, man, but I'm glad you made it through it. And you're still on your journey. So fast forward that to where you are now. I guess that's probably been a contributor to this change that you've made.
Right.
Yeah. So I go, there's somebody who's listening who don't know you, who hasn't followed your post, who hasn't listened to your story. So if you could help contribute right now to somebody considering that they want to change their life, what would you say to them?
Open your heart. That's it. That's for me. Open your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for me, again, I'm literally watching my life unfold because I am going back to my roots and my foundations. Again, I grew up in the church. I grew up in Christ. And like I was speaking on earlier, our house foreclosed on Bainbridge when I was 12 years old, around 12 or 13. My parents got divorced. Literally, kind of just got thrown into the wilderness. Even just thrown into the wilderness, man. And in that wilderness, it was rabbit holes all around me, and rabbit holes from drugs to lust to even just greed, just so many different things, man. Knowledge, just beginning to research different things and picking up on different ideologies. And what I realized is, like, whenever you're searching, there's always going to be something or somebody that's going to give you what you quote unquote are looking for, what you quote unquote are craving. And one thing my youth pastor just told me last week, he was like, the enemy can never create, he just mimics. And so in the wilderness, I began to see a lot of things that mimicked what was familiar to me. And I began to pull on it. I began to get attached to it to fill in the hardened or the hole that I had in my heart at the end of the day. And I would just say, like, for the last, people see me going from stage to stage, preaching, doing my thing. And I really had to, in the last 3 weeks, invite accountability into my life. I had to really sit down and look at, all right, what is the real root of everything that I've been doing over the last 5-6 years? What is the real root of my actions? Why am I really saying what I'm saying and doing what I'm doing and preaching what I'm preaching? Is it really for the people, or is it for myself? Is it for vanity? Is it for, like I was talking to Dr. Ram, we was just talking about the difference between, well, pretty much it was a big discussion on Facebook, talking the difference between open mics and church. And so I realized, like, when I was going to these open mics, it wasn't as a place to like give honor God or praise God. It was really a place to, I'm gonna get this poem off. People gonna say, "Oh, you did good," and oh, I might go home with a baddie that night, or somebody might buy my stuff that night. And so, if you would have told me this 3 years ago, I would have been like, "Man, nah, get out of here, bro," because I had a hardened heart. I had a closed heart. I didn't have ears open to receive what the people around me would have wanted to tell me, the counsel around me. So on the aspect of changing, the biggest thing for me is really like, again, like I said, opening up my heart, telling God, like, yo, I want to be transformed. I want to change. I see the error of my ways. I see what I'm doing is not in alignment with what you desire for my life. When you meaning God, and just let me surrender. Let me submit. You know what I'm saying? Let me not lean on my own understanding. Let me not lean on everything the world has told me. I'm not even lean on the church. I'm not even lean on scripture. Like, let me just lean on, I ain't gonna say let me like lean on scripture, because I'll definitely lean on that scripture. But let me not lean on pretty much let me not lean on what everybody tells me to lean on. And let me just really sit with myself. Let me just really silence out the noise, like Radio B say, stop looking for noise. You know what I'm saying? Put that phone down. You know what I'm saying? Let me put my phone down. Let me stop looking for noise, and let me really sit with myself and be real with myself. Be honest with myself. Be true with myself, and don't close up my heart to receive what God is trying to send me. You know what I'm saying? Time and time again, God's been trying. I'm talking about literally today. I was in Juice Life, and I was just thinking about, like, every time when I shouldn't be here. I was thinking about the times when I was driving around the city with pounds of weed in the trunk and no license, with a strap, a dirty gun on me, and like, God forbid, I'm not in a jumpsuit. Or God, thank God I'm not in a jumpsuit right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about the time with a shotgun almost blew off my leg. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying? I'll not be here. I should not have a leg right now. So, like, really just thinking about sitting down with myself. And I'm going to tell you what, one of the biggest thing I say too is, I can't tell people what to do, but I'm going to tell you what's been working for me. Right. And maybe you can hear yourself in that. And so, again, just silencing out the noise. You know what I'm saying? Putting that tunnel vision on the Most High, putting that tunnel vision on God, surrounding myself with counsel and people who are desiring to do the same. You know what I'm saying? And really just being open to receive. Because I feel like a lot of times I was going into the situation, into life, into love, into spirituality, and with the aspect of, oh, I just want to know, no. I know. I got to the point where I thought I knew everything. Well, I know how the world works, so I know this and I know that. It's like, bro, you a child, bro. Like, you a child. I don't care how old you gonna get. You're gonna always be a child, because the vastness of this universe, the vastness of what the Most High has created, you would never be able to really grasp that. And so, like Erykah Badu said, the man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. So I say, like, for me, it helped me to release the aspect that I know it all, that I got all the answers. Open my heart to the Most High to receive the experience. I even tell people now, like, this change that I'm going through, it ain't got nothing to do with what I know, but it's about what I am experiencing. Like you just said earlier, people all around, they are literally watching my character change, like what it looks like overnight, because I'm literally, like, not leaning on my own understanding, not leaning on what I know, and just submitting to the experience of God and Christ in my life. And when I tell you, that is literally like breaking chains of addiction, breaking chains of lust, breaking chains of vanity in my life. I mean, literally, like, I just got married July 7th. Before and after that, before, like, literally specifically before, still had lust in my heart. Still looking at everyone like, oh, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, still really not really giving my wife the love that she deserved, because I wasn't even giving myself the love that I deserved. And that love is a love from God. So yeah, man, to tie it all in, lean not on your own understanding, because we are babies. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't lean on my own understanding. I don't have the answers, and I honestly probably never will. You know what I'm saying? Unless God chooses to reveal it to me. Two, open up my heart. You know what I'm saying? Just be open to receive. You know what I'm saying? What God has for me. And three, surround myself around people who are on the same path that I'm going on. Because as long as I'm that environment aspect, it's like a guy who invented a melanated brother who invented these torpedo pots. He was on the interview. He said, we don't grow plants. We just sustain the environment that it's in. And so the aspect of, like, who we are as individuals, we are plants. And it's not like we grow ourselves, even when it comes to children. We don't grow these children. We don't grow ourselves as children. But what we can do is sustain the environment that we are in.
And
So cutting up.
and we feed ourselves.
Exactly. What we feed.
We
Exactly.
nurture ourselves.
Come on now. That's the environment we consume. Come on. Yeah.
I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you a fourth one, though. I'm going to give you a fourth. Give yourself grace. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because you are a father, you are a husband, and you're a public figure in this community that people look to. And if you don't give yourself grace, nobody else will, because as soon as they see you in any way that's contra to the man that they see right now, because we human and we deal with the flesh and we make mistakes and there's a margin. So just give yourself grace, because that's the thing that, you know, I'm not going to say that Mace and Kanye didn't give themselves grace. I'm not going to say they didn't. I don't know what they did because I don't know them. But I know that the community didn't give them any grace, because as soon as they seen Mace, you know, not in the pulpit, or as soon as they see Kanye do something that's like outside of, you know, first off, Kanye ain't never been like in the box. So as soon as they see him do anything that's like, that ain't how the minister, then they start doing what we do. So give yourself grace, because if you do have to come face to face with, you know, people that going to say what they're going to say, you can tell them in a very godly way, or you can not tell them anything at all. You just keep it moving. So you don't let it bother you, you know. But I'm proud to see and witness the change. It's inspiring to me, and I'm sure it's inspiring to a lot of other people. And thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. We got to wrap toward close here. And as I close, I'm going to ask you 7 random questions that I don't want you to think too much about. I just want you to kind of impulsively respond. Okay. All right. And I'll lighten it up a little bit. Let me go lighten it up. Okay. So I might ask something, because you might be dealing with that controversial stuff right now. My spirit might go left. Okay.
All right, for sure.
All right. But you don't eat meat.
Right.
How long have you not eaten meat?
About 6-7 years now. So
like, what's a typical day of food for you? What's breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like, or even if you follow that format?
All right, man.
Quickly.
Smoothie, kale salad, quinoa, beans, and vegetables.
That's it. Where you get your protein at?
Protein, the kale protein in the plant protein.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's 1. 2. You are a sports guy. You like soccer. Do you like any other sports?
Golf and pickleball.
Okay, man. He's at golf. I can't say anything. I don't know anything about it. Pickleball. I like ping pong. That's all I know. All right. That's 2. 3. I want you to be direct. I don't want you to be political. Not that I think you would be, but I want you to give an answer.
Say less.
Do you live in the city of Richmond?
Yeah.
How do you feel about your city's leadership, starting from the mayor's office? How do you feel? Do you just give how do you feel?
I was challenged with it for a long time, but I realized that he's a man, he's a human, and he's been given a very challenging position. And a lot of times, I was just talking today, when you got a position and you're at the top, a lot of times people look at you for all the answers. If everything's not working, they're going to blame it on you. So he's a human, he's a brother, and I'm actually looking forward to having a lot more conversation with him, because back in the day, I used to call him out, like, you cotton, you goddamn Uncle Tom. But like at the end of the day, man, who am I to do that? Like, no.
And his wife is training right across the street from you, right across the road. So you got to, so the opportunity is there to build a relationship, right?
That's a fact, most definitely.
That got you. So I come down to Juice Life sometimes. I look forward to seeing you there. Not frequently, because I don't be when I'm in that area. I go get that shot. I get that shot, and I grab a couple of those cookies, and that's really all I get. But what do you recommend someone get at Juice Life?
I go that 50 Shades of Green. Yeah, get them greens in, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we don't get our greens in. So 50 Shades of Green, then go ahead and get you some shake bag, and then go get you some beet drop. That's my top 3.
Okay, cool. That's question number 4.
Oh yeah, and then get you some love tea too. Yeah, because we got the dry herbs in there too.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Don't skip out on that love tea. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, cool. Hey, and seriously, at some point offline, I want to connect with you because I want to see about the eats thing. I want to get some of your products too.
That's love. Got you.
All right, I got to ask 3 more questions and see, because you came on here with your spirit right. I don't want to go left. Usually I go left. Now I'm gonna ask this one though. I'm gonna ask this one. So when you was younger, who was your celebrity childhood crush? Celebrity.
Ooh, celebrity childhood crush, man. Go, Jada Pinkett Smith. I'll be real. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jason Lyric sold me.
Got you. Dang, man, you old soul. You old soul to be 25. Man, it's crazy. Jada Pinkett has got young men 25. Like, I would say that.
She got all this Alexander, man. She be in them entanglements, man. She would have got me if I
No. My bad. I wouldn't say Jada Pinkett. I would have said Neil on. You said Jada Pinkett. You said Jada Pinkett.
Jason Lyrics got me, bro.
Jada Pinkett, Will Smith wife.
Jason Lyrics sold me, bro. It was Jason Lyrics. That was it. Damn. And then even it was Jason Lyrics. Yeah, she was in Set It Off too, right? She sold me in Set It Off too.
I ain't heard that one. I ain't heard that one.
I had a whole bar about Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Jada Pinkett, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, man. Y'all better stay away from Jada Pinkett, man.
Hey, man, yeah, I'm good.
Stay away from Jada Pinkett.
Now that I know, I need Jason Lyrics, Jada Pinkett, not Will Smith.
All right, I know what my last question gonna be. I gotta figure out what this one gonna be. Let me see. All right. So your name is Love.
What's that?
I'm sure your name means to you more than it means. It's different than just a Webster's dictionary. I mean, right. How would you define Brandon Love?
So love with 2 E's. So to say be love, I tell people, if you don't remember my name, remember my message. My message is to be love. You know what I'm saying? And then love with 2 E's, because it's one love and 2 exchanges. And there's 2 exchanges comes from what Christ said, the first 2 commandments and promise. The first exchange is to love the Lord thy God with your entire mind, body, and strength. And the second exchange is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So it's that simple for me. Again, I feel like love is thrown around. I keep it simple. One love, 2 exchanges.
Good. All right. So my last question is, do you have any regrets?
Ooh, no, not one. No? I'm here today. I'm alive. I am well. I used to think it was some things I should have, would have, could have did, but I look at it in the mindset of what I'm going to do at the opportunity and when the opportunity presents itself. But yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes in life. I'm not a perfect man, so I definitely can't say that. But those mistakes and those challenges got me here today. So yeah, like you said earlier, I give myself grace, I give myself mercy, and I give thanks and praise to the Most High for allowing those actions to make me the man I am today, so I can communicate with all who I need to communicate with.
That's great, bro. This has been a really good conversation. I'm gonna depend on you and the support from your team to help push this, because I think there's a lot of people, some people just watch clips, and that's okay. So you got to think about, what are the clips that you feel like are going to reach the people who you feel like need to receive them. And that's something that I process as I'm rewatching these shows. But I feel like if you did listen this far in the conversation, thank you, because this was a really good conversation. And if you didn't, I don't know what to say, man. It's like these are seed investments that we just we take the time to create the dialogue and we put it out there, and somebody may see it today. Somebody may see it in 5-10 years. Just like we are looking at your speech from 2011 when you was at the Elijah House. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be caught when it's supposed to be caught, from whomever who catches it. This podcast you'll be able to listen to it on almost all podcast channels. It'll be on YouTube as well. And my name is Randy Wilson. You can learn more about me at randywilsonpodcast.com. And remember what I told you, I got a new show coming. So, like, a lot of people have been like, look, I haven't been inspired and motivated to produce the shows at the volume that I've historically done it. And that's because I'm going through something right now. And so, and that ain't nothing deep. It's just that, I'm not super compelled to talk to politicians. I'm not super compelled to talk to artists. I'm not super compelled to talk to entrepreneurs. I'm not super compelled to talk to anybody right now. I think I'm sitting here in their catch. Like I'm ready to receive conversations that I feel like I need, that benefit me. And this was one of them. So, and you inspired it. So very happy for that. But I'm telling y'all, the next show is going to be different. I'm always going to keep the Randy Wilson podcast interviews coming on the side, but I'm going to prioritize in this show coming up focus themed conversations that are thought provoking and really excited about it. So we still brainstorming for that on how that's going to come out, but y'all continue to stay tapped in to Randy Wilson podcast and you'll learn more about it and you'll meet my future co-host soon. All right, we out.
Appreciate you, man. Peace.
Peace.